Hi, I hope you're ready for chapter 8. This is another favorite of mine. I really do enjoy this chapter as well, and I think you're going to find a lot of really helpful, valuable information in this chapter as well that really kind of helps us to put together what does it mean to be an interdisciplinary thinker and what that looks like in motion, how we're going to actually do it. So I think you'll find it helpful. Remember, to be an interdisciplinary thinker, it takes courage. It's not easy. You can't just pick a book up on it. I mean, although we have a textbook, and find that ultimate answer, because it's really encouraging you to look for answers that aren't out there yet. It's taking that courage. It's taking that risk. It's combining some ideas into some idea. Many of us are defensive. This is the right answer. This is how I've always known it. This is how I grew up in it. This is when I learned about it. And this is it. But if we had all the right answers, we'd solve the world problems. They're very complex problems with multiple different answers. And what we have to challenge ourselves to do is to embrace those problems, many different people, to come together to the best solution for everybody, because the best solution has parts of so many different areas so that we can truly address it as a whole. You almost want to think of a salad and somebody's lettuce, and they say, I'm the most important part, I'm the lettuce. You can't have a salad without lettuce. But somebody else says, I'm tomatoes. All you have is lettuce without that. What do you need? You need a tomato. It's absolutely imperative to have a tomato. You got a crouton in there who goes, hey, I add some spice to life. But it's not a salad unless they all come together. They're just parts and they're just pieces, and they may be part of a salad, they may be part of a solution. We want to kind of help to bring that together, and that requires an understanding of the many disciplines, what those disciplines are, what they consist of, and a hearty respect for those disciplines. So even if they're not your cup of tea or your favorite, we have to really respect them and respect what they bring to the table. And that's really important. So there's a lot of elements of diversity that are wrapped in here, a lot of elements of common ground, a lot of elements of social processing, a lot of really good stuff that actually, if you continue with your degree into the bachelor's program, we'll be taking more classes in those areas. So that's something we're really focused on in chapter 8. Understanding that we have to respect the different viewpoints, and we have to ensure that our attitude allows us to respect those viewpoints while still being a critical thinker. And this is really important. Just because somebody tries to sell you a bowl full of sunshine doesn't mean you should be buying it. So we have to respect those disciplines. We have to respect what they bring to the table, but we have to look at each of those solutions critically. Does this solution make sense? And this is going to be something that you're going to advance as you go through your education and understanding what articles are real, what articles are fake news, what articles are substantiated, what articles are peer-reviewed, what articles have some grounding in it. Because you can find anything online. That doesn't make it all true. I'm sure you've seen the little commercial where the girl comes in and the guy shows up and he goes, this is my date, and he's a model, and clearly he's not. Well, it must be true. I saw it on the internet. Not so sure. And this day and age, the more and more information we have, the more we think we have the right answers because we found it on the internet. But we have to look at things. Sites like Wikipedia, they can be altered, they can be changed. We have a lot of people who are motivated to get their point across and their point across only, and they're not looking at other viewpoints. So it's really challenging for you as well, not only to be open-minded, to be invested in respecting all the different disciplines, but also to be sure to be a critical thinker when you're doing your studies and doing your reviews. It's imperative that as you continue with your studies that you are a good critical thinker and you don't just take something at the first view, you take a deeper look at it. And remember that as an interdisciplinarian, your goal is not to know everything about everything. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. Your goal is to be able to take one problem, take apart the parts of that problem or what you need to look at to be a good critical thinker and to be a good researcher. Somebody else is probably already looking at those parts and trying to solve them. You're not going to understand all that at once, and you're not supposed to. You're more the glue, the coordinator, the person that's going to put all those things together and help to form something new. So don't come out of this feeling like I have to be the expert in all those things. Of course you don't. Even in our own houses, we hire somebody to do this, we hire somebody to do that, but we look at the totality of what it's going to make it to my home and what that means. So that's really important. So be a good researcher, be open-minded, be able to understand the different disciplines and what they have to offer. And also remember that when you review the work of other disciplinarians, you want to seek clarity. If you don't understand something, find somebody to explain it or help bring it to the light of what you need to do. Ask questions and do research as needed. One of the things that you're going to see as we go through future chapters is many people have similar thoughts and ideas, but they may even just use different words or different terminologies for the same thing. So two people are saying the same thing, but they're saying it in essence in different languages because they don't use the same words, they don't use the same programs. So all of this is important in helping us to identify what are we all really saying as we all come together, speaking just a little bit differently. And we want to start to strengthen the depth of the argument by gathering all this information, finding out what different people agree on, what they disagree on, why they disagree on those parts. Are the parts that they disagree on part of the problem we're trying to solve? And finding ways to make a good end product is really important. You also want to make sure that when you're looking at these things, when somebody says, I'm right and this is the right reason, is their argument logical? Does it make sense? And does it make sense to what the problem is that you're putting in front of them? Because sometimes, again, they're coming from their discipline and their thought process, this all or nothing thinking. I'm not here to solve all the problems. I'm here to look at one problem. And does what you say fit well into the elements of this problem? So that's really important. Something that's very helpful, and they're going to be highlighted in this chapter, is going to be mapping. And you're going to see in your book in figures 8.2 and 8.3, and those are found on pages 224 and 225. There are some great tables to look at that will help you understand and see what mapping is. And mapping is one of those visual exercises. And it really is very helpful as you kind of draw lines. And for those of you who have those creative processes that like those mind maps, it may be very helpful to you. So hopefully you find it helpful. I look forward to talking to you a little bit more in Chapter 9.